Alright guys, welcome back. A couple people were inquiring about a couple things. I know everybody's kind of been wondering what's going on lately. Well, I've been kind of busy with work, and of course the holiday weekend I was out of town. But I'm back, and I'm going to show a couple people that sent me PMs that were asking about certain things, some more detailed things. So with that in mind, maybe this will help some of you others when you get there. I had one guy, I can't remember where he's from. Oh, let me find my flashlight. He was inquiring about his rudder servo system, and mine, as you can see, I'm just using the stock. You know, he said something about it was inadequate as far as the mounting system for the rudder servo. His English was it was okay, a couple little things. So if I understand what he was saying, that he was going to, you know, either glue in a block somewhere else, maybe up in, you know, this area right here to do the servo or something. He said that mount was inadequate. That's the same ply that the elevator servos are mounted to. It's glued in really well. It's got, you can see there at the top, it actually goes into the aft, or the bulkhead here, and in the front. And then the shaft comes down through, you know, right through the center, and then there's that little metal piece right there with 2 set screws on it. The shaft slides on, and, you know, obviously turns the rudder. Like I said, I'm just going to use the, you know, the standard mount there. There's nothing wrong with that one from what I can see. It's pretty secure. There's no binding. It's pull. The only thing that I recommend is on the shaft itself for the rudder. Here, back out. There's actually, this goes down to the fuselage. That clamp with the 2 set screws goes on this and obviously turns it. There's no flat spot for the set screw, so what I would probably do is put some paint on the tip of the set screw, run it in, and see where it leaves a little mark, and maybe put a flat bevel on it, at least on one side. Probably not. You probably don't have to do it both, but at least one side to keep it from, you know, that way it really locks it in. But other than that, I haven't seen anything wrong with the way, you know, the way that servo mounts in there. So hope that helps helps the guy that was wondering about that. Only thing I would probably do too is, you know, the 2 set screws there for where your rudder actually bolts in. It's 2 carbon fiber rods. There's no flat spot on there either. So what I'm going to do is do the same thing. I'm just going to mark it, put a little flat spot on the carbon shaft for that set screw to bite into. Other than that, really nothing else you need to do. But that's just, you know, that's my opinion. The other thing I was going to show you guys is how the elevator actually got. This is the new material that they come in, and you can see if you get obviously all the new ones are coming in the new honeycomb. Just make sure you've got the little breather holes on the front and back, because the honeycomb's a little bit more flexible than the old composite material was. So in heat, obviously trapped air expand, contract, could cause some issues. So they drill little breather holes here, and even if they have the hole, just kind of give it a squeeze. Make sure air puffs out, because mine was both of mine were clogged up with, I guess they didn't drill far enough. So just basically just punch through, and it now it works like it should. Breather holes, I guess. I'm guessing that's what they're there for. But other than that, I might have already. Brass tube on the titanium shaft. There's a groove cut on the shaft itself. The brass tube doesn't really do anything other than give the bearings, which there's one on each side, you know, inside and outside, something to basically bite onto. and then of course your little plastic wash spacer here, and then your clamp. Where's my clamp? Clamp has a groove on it as well, and then I got to clean up around here some. The top piece bolts right in with 4 screws. I did use some longer 3mm bolts that come with it. They actually go all the way into the aluminum. That way you don't pull out a couple threads. Center 2 holes there. Another 3mm screw, and they just lock that down on the shaft to keep it from pulling out. So I'm going to go ahead and install this one, but I'm going to have to put the camcorder down for a second to do it. So let's see here. Alright. And the hard part is getting this, basically getting this brass sleeve where it needs to be on the shaft, because if you don't have it in far enough or out too far, the clamp goes on here, won't line up, because there's 2 grooves. Obviously, there's a groove cut on the shaft, and it won't sit right. It won't sit flush if you don't. It'll kind of come down uneven, cause it to bind, and could possibly give you a false indication of being tight when it's really not. And it's real hard to move this shaft once it's in. So what I did is just put it in and push the clevis on, because the clevis, this sits against the bearing on the inside. That keeps it from where it doesn't, the elevator doesn't move in and out. So that's you just do it a couple times until you get it right. Other than that, nothing. Clamp goes down. Alright. Make sure this is zoomed out. Yeah. Got some light. Alright, this piece points to the top, okay? And then it goes in like this. Alright, so get this installed. Alright, get a little piece of tape here. Where's the tape? There it is. Kind of keep it from doing that, because it will actually, because of the washer and the angle of the elevator, if you go too far, it actually pulls it out. So push it back in, just tape it off. Alright, so now doing everything backwards here. You can see flashlight. Alright, and then of course the flat groove goes towards the bottom, and then the other one bolts on. Alright, like I said, the biggest thing is getting that brass tube in position where it needs to be, which allows the clamp to push all the way up against that bearing, the bearing in there, to keep from having any kind of slop in and out on the elevator. And of course, and then you just rebolt on the actual two elevators. Pull. Kind of see here the wires also going from my afterburner ring. It's kind of hard to see down in there. Yeah, it's gonna have to get I just basically ran them along the side on top of my servo wires that I have covered with heat tape, and I'm going to use this right here to go over the wires. I'm not, you know, it'll be a little bit of a heat protection. I'm not too worried about those wires. If something starts burning through and leaking and burns those wires, it's not going to do anything. Anyways, so I'm just putting this over there to kind of secure it with zip ties through the actual you know, aircraft. And it's just a plastic tube wrap. Real light, real flexible, nothing to it. And that's it. I'll go ahead and bolt on that bottom piece and put the servo arms or servo rods back on. Yeah, I just wanted to show a couple, like I said, there's a couple people inquiring about the rudder and everything, so I hope that helps. Other than that, that's about it for now. You guys have a good one. Hopefully I can finish this thing up this week if I get my air valves. So you guys have a good evening.